overcomes the world. And this is the victory that overcomes the world, our faith. Now it's amazing that the Bible does not say that the victory that overcomes the world is our prayers, even though prayers are a good thing. It does not say this is the victory that overcomes the world, our singing, or maybe our worship, or maybe our fasting. No. Even though all these things are good. But the Bible says that this is, for whatever is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. That means the only person in these end times that will live a victorious Christian life is a person that lives by faith. There is no other way. There is no 2 ways, there is no 3 ways, there is no 4 ways. The only person that will live a successful, victorious life in these end times is a person that lives by faith. No wonder the Bible says, for without faith it is impossible to please God. No, everything you can do in this life, if it is not mixed with faith, it does not glorify God. It means there's a lot of things that we are doing today, it does not glorify God. If we have to be honest, so to speak. Nakakita nga esenga ni waki bata kina pakambota, o kwa esenga ni roko bikina nakalo. Kaya baka esenga ni roko bikina nakalo talaga esenga talaga ni narongata. You know, there was a person that fell off a cliff. No, he fell off. He was traveling through the hills, and then he fell off a cliff. And as he fell off the cliff, he slid down, and then he grabbed onto a branch. He was hanging on this branch, and then he looked down to the bottom. He see so many miles down, and he could see those rocks. And then he was about to fall, and then he looked up towards heaven, and then this is what he says. He said, "Hello." So in the middle of the forest, nobody there, no one to listen, just him and just the echo of his voice. He said, "Hello, is there anyone up there?" He's getting tired, and his hand is beginning to sleep because he's beginning to fall. And then after a while, someone says from the top, "I am here. I am the Lord. Do you believe me?" And this is what he says. "Yes, Lord. I really believe you. I love you. But I cannot hang on any longer." And then the voice says to him, "That's all right. If you really believe me, and if you really love me, like you say, let go of the branch, and I will catch you." And then there's a pause. And then the man calls again. "Hello, is there anybody else up there?" Because for him, for us, most of our lives as Christians, that's how we live. When God calls us to live by faith, when He speaks to us to do something, a lot of times the answers that we receive is not the answer that we want. So when God speaks to us to do something, and then we want to do it, and then God tells us to do it, but we doubt God, and then we said, we look for another option. In other words, what this man was saying, the moral of the story is this: there is no option to serving God. It's either we live by faith or we die. Sangat lang to na plan B. Ako lang ko na mati ko ya. Do ba mean?
Amen.
Sangat lang yung ruwa talaga na kaya isaw, sangat lang yung talaga na kaya na. A lot of times, today we have a lot of people that live justified unbelief. Klanda, tamang baga na kinapapatala mabit. And the bandoni, ti kono nang tao makabota. Napakabota yung ruwa nga, and napakabota nga nakalo. Sanda nga ninda pakaboti ko. A lot of times, our faith is no stronger than this man. Because overcoming faith causes us to face difficulties in different ways than the average man. Rena, karena pula tiga sana go, pero gora sa tinubula makabota. Let's just be very honest. Let's be very straightforward. The person that is sitting next to you at work or that's doing business with you, if they do not serve the Lord, they do not have faith. You cannot be lessening your faith and your belief in God to live according to the standard of the people that live next to you or the people that work with you. You know, from Hebrews chapter 11, from verse 30 down to verse 40, it talks a lot about people that live by faith. Like Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about the chapter of faith. Because faith, number one, faith overcomes obstacles by refusing to back down. Ni sanding itakan bulan ng bulan makabuti sa sinratan ng Yesu kay muli. Sa siniraw. Kaya sa totoo nga nakatulad the same thing that Jesus said. Anyone that puts his hands on the plow and looks back is not worth following. Bapak amen. So nung nakita ba kayo ng bula? Doon singa ng bula makabota. Tatalising sa lisena. Doon singa sa praise the Lord. Doon singa sa lindo tententu. You know, our lives are like all over the place. But that's why our lesson that we were talking about on Wednesday, the reason why we are called into this world is twofold purpose. Number one, is so that we can be conformed to His image. Mendaran do tuto kata-kata kikway. Yan ang bula naman bula tayo betul buli reres ya. Kung bula tayo buli makabota. Makabota. Ako na, you know, faith, they will say this all the time. Faith that is not tested is faith that cannot be trusted. Nang makabota, kung napakatobolitiko. Pakatobolitiko nag-irita. Ili mo ba, ili mo rin tuto, neho, makabota. Yun lang kung may mga nandendre. Kwento. Nilang may mga nandendre, ako ay suka. Nilang mga nandendre, ako mangaratan sa na plan B, plan C. Kuatara matal sa na kalusin, ito tala na spare tali sa kumedaguri. At na kalusawa yung ati ko, bita na kang goreo na dingomiko. You know, a lot of times in our lives daily, it's like that. Ito, turang ka ba na Turo sa pang buti mo ni Chico, kim ni nabi baro tayo berto na wani bulur to na lakong gorto na libi baro ito. Kila nakawo, sa kila ko tamo sa gilindo tental so nang buat tutusa. So nakawo no, wala lang kapatid pa mo rio to sa nang wala. You know, we say something but we believing something else. So the yes, now what is God is our provider. Go. Kalau the proportion doesn't come from me, comes from God. What's nga mga golang mo promote tayo talo do, sa kan sa may tatay so ganyan lo. Makambo ta romata. Pakambota ko yung duwan na. Nung mabandi o lakalakang nga na pakambota, pakambota nga po. Naiyo nga naiyo, sera. Very simple. There's no in between. There's no gray. It's either black or it's white. It's either we live by faith or we're not. You know, when from verse 30 it talks about by faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they encircled it for 7 days. When we talk about the walls of Jericho, when I was back in Bible school, we studied about the walls of Jericho. They said, you know, on the walls of Jericho, on the top of the walls, you know what they used to do? They used to do chariot racing. Kailan bito courage, whatever they call it. Yan doon takasama kita. Yan, nandiyan lang yung baytak. What is that talking about? That talks about how wide it is. Yan, nakatal tunang gito, yung dala ni baya, on top of the wall. And then it says, there's double walls. Ito nang bayit, may tuba. Doon siya may tuba sa lakon nila, masagin doon, talit siya kumilong. And I was thinking about when we go down to the maximum, it's something like that. You're going through the first one, then you go through the second one, sabi, bida patatala ng bay, 12 gates, I think, before you go into the place where you can, the visiting place. Yeah. Kung nabat siya. But just imagine, kung napunuli mo yan, it did not take any human ingenuity. Siniturikin nandun engineer. If we had to do that today, nakanalimang tama-tama kuro ito. That day, Joshua didn't say, bring a round up of the engineers. Laku may engineer. Tugur to kila. Nambay bata. No, Tofinga is an engineer. Tofinga is the guy that engineered the highway in Nandi. The one that comes through Namaka Matentar, that time they were doing it. Nakatagan din engineer. Nakatagan ni Tofinga. At that time. No Tofinga, when the truck comes by, just like the World Lava Center, he has to be there every time the truck dumps the cement. Every time. Because whenever the truck reverses to dump the cement, he just puts his hand in the cement. He just puts his hand, he said, take it back. They have to take it back. So this is the wrong mix. This is not right. Because for every different aspect of the building, there's a different mix for everything. An engineer, this is what they study. They know how much, what's the ratio for this one, what's the ratio for that one, what's the ratio for this one. Different places, they have different mixes. For the wall, for the floor, for the foundation. Foundation, they make it a bit thick, other ones inside, they make it a bit thin. You know, I was thinking, because I heard of the story of the guy that engineered the World Lava Center. Same thing. Nang una sa suka tumikin na lori, sa wawakit yung total talaga, suka nga may bangon na lori. Pango tip nga balay, tip nga pango, tarang nga pango, kotuno, to kutalis talis cement. They have to take it back. They have to take it back. Take it back again to the cement factory, we remix it, and then they have to bring it again. And that's the same thing that Tofinga told me the story. He said, Pastor, every time they pour the cement, I have to be there. Because sometimes these people, they kasama tak na engineer. Ano, natakatak. Yan na, kaya na nabisinga. If you have to bring down some demolition squad, they know there's certain places where they need to put the dynamites and all of these things to bring this thing down. Sanga ba nito ba yung dubira kaya di may. Pakasama taka. Sanga nito ang tama-tama koroy. Yesterday I heard about someone that went to one study in one university at UK. O makasama UK ada na bula sa senga. Sabi tanong na bakambauta ko chuk sa revaki. Di ko ira na bikata lesoya. Di ko ira. Because they didn't bring about engineers and said, okay, this is how you're gonna do it. This is how we're gonna bring down the wall. Kaya lang may mantang-mantang na matapos. Doon na ka na sino ko, saan libo na may mantang ilang matapos. Matapos yan nga ni Watitingga. Tapi ko siya sa mga Watitingga. Ito na ba? Mendawando niyo ito nang rere. Mata rere. Wando niyo ito nang Watitingga. Wando niyo ito nang sino pa kang boto ito na kalo. Tsagi kaya na umbit. Oh, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord nga ni rere. Kanda pa siya nga mula. But in this place, just imagine, in this instance, there was no such thing. Sino ko morto ni engineer tontor ka na matambos, nara ka na committee. Morto na committee, so na committee to sa committee na yung multi. Ang kaya ko nga na committee nga ni sa Beraman Tigabu. Roman dahil na ka na losi. Lele na bitalon na tingin ka, niliva pa pa, wala bitalon na tayo. Wala mo na kaya. Iyo sa ako wala kitiko. Kung wala ka na, na kos niya ang korna. Kita ba kau nakit tiga? Kenapa kamu tahu kau yang tua nggak? Karena kau bina ketemu bapak kau punya lonta tua kau lama kau. Lu saat sih kalau mandi sultan diteri, apa kamu tahu kau yang tua nggak? Kau sini tol. Sangat talangan di lapangan kota lain tempat terere bu. Tuh pakai langsung ngomong, contoh sama kasar rere cukup mai. Kaya pakai kau tempat terere, kau you don't deserve to be part of this fellowship. Kaya kau tempat terere langsung, oh saya betul kita bang, ini sini yang termotivasi. O sa kaya saranga pakabimbi kaya kanta sila waktu itu na mga viso taka kaya sama viso taka ng fellowship hanggarata ng mga fellowship ko mo kaya bundo sa tatong ng do level ni rere fellowship nga ni rere katong na fellowship nga na pakabot na motto ni Ebrio live by faith or die kaya may nandong karon. Kau yang maro itu, tiga momen yang mana ya? Miata di sini ko. Kalau maro kata cukup itu kau nelan cukup nanda sama dia preaching. Gaya fama kalau tak kau nak kaya. Itu kau bangku sama maro ada tu maro. Tu orang kita nak kartu tak kau cukup mikir lah. Kau ni dia tak buta sarva lele mikir. Gori kita uti nang gori. Orang surto saya lang mati ni kaya. Tu lang may biyon tu nak kini makan bauta ya. Oh sama kamu botak, kalau manikar kau sama kau sabi suka. Kalau manikar kau tuh sama kau kangen tuh orang kau sabi kau cukup apa? Apa kau yo kata tu tani ayah tu ini. Kita sini bitalon nama tanggal 11 Maret. Ninda salah kau kata kena kalau kau tu salah kau kenapa kamu botak? Kesa nga tu sakuang. Don't I mean? No, it's either we live by faith all the way. Kau never listen mo. Don't waste your time. Kita kata kami dari kita kau tu sona ka, kau Sino tunta na kanang no pinakadaki. Kanang dati ko na puno kon dan mati ko metawa ka buta ti agay. Lagot bin na titinga. Bito ko na dur ko manabising every day. Whether it has to do with believing for the protection of our children in school, whether it has to do with the drugs, the pandemic that's taking place and we're worried, whether it has to do with our family, whether it has to do with our relationships, whether it has to do with our finances, whether it has to do with our daily sustenance, everything. Kanda sa mula nga. Ano ba kamo? Tuntutong na bitang no siniruwa. Siya ni tulo siya ni ba. Kasi ang talaga nito na plan B. May sahutin nga ba ko to sa tartang ko turang kasi nito talas pia talas yung may dagori. May bukiyo sa to ko nga nakaloyo ng garon ni ko natang gumaki ko. Aw natang gumaki ko. Bita nga nakaguro waluto-luto so buto may mga dirlolo. Levi ko may ngita ka pa na natakata. Dati ko sino ko. His ways are much higher than your ways. His thoughts are much higher than your thoughts. So no na a lot of times we try to bring God according to the level of our thoughts. Kan do ve fika te ko. Kunya sa to na ba no ni combine ni soli. Kunyo fika taka nakalo, rauta na fika. Na fika na kutaka man tumudin ra. Hypertension. Kutama na kanabi matagira. Kunyo fika ti ko. Santura bang boto ikon turinga. Pakamoti ko yan turi lakwen. Akaba na kantor mo takap. Tura nga uri ngile wayunga. Kaya baka sa katsi kaya sa ngausa singkila. Ngausa lako tumandangay. Do ba men? Tura nga buki kima mina kalone sinini ko sa may pula na bakamutan din. Overcoming faith. And this is the victory that has overcome the world. Our faith. Pakokota ka na kalo, panggang gato ta na kalo ni mamimbulan, na ko batigi mo ni. Panggang gato ta na kalo ni mamimbulan ni bakambo tigi mo. Lebu na rongo, kiba ni rongo ta. Ko etu kunang go, ko kay maya. Makasama bago, bitidia kibi tu medi dia ta na pula. Kimi rongo ta na kalo no ni bos. Bata rawa na bakambo ta, na bakarongo. Ya na rongo ta na. Kano mo ni bos. Baka dite kimami turang, baka do ta na man ni sini ko. Bika kaya kem sabai tapi kimami kena bela betir. Ko bitikin na ta mo ni. Sisu na yung mga